It looks like my boy Raffy's back at it again. Hey, what is good, beautiful people? Of course, you know who I is, the good Dr. Mike, back again, once again, with another Foreigner Reacts video. This time, the reaction is going to be live, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's blessed and having a great one. First time to the channel, likes up. Make sure you subscribe. Take care of everything that should be listed in the links in the description area below. Raffi Tufel, my guy. Everybody's idol. You guys know I'm a Raffi Tufel fan. Told you guys that before, and I'll tell you guys that again. But today's story, I'm gonna have to say that this is a contender. A contender. He's in contention for the Simp of the Year in the Philippines, ladies and gentlemen. The year is almost coming to a close, and he's in the running. I thought my other guy had it, my man from Australia, but today we got a guy, a white American from the great state of Texas, who's in a relationship with a young lady who I don't see the attraction. Again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but ladies and gentlemen, if you ask me personally, I just don't see the attraction at all.
Is this her?
Yes, that's her.
Is this Adora? You sure?
Yes. Why?
Oh, man.
Bucket.
So apparently, RJ meets Adora overseas while she is also an OFW. Now, apparently the situation is Adora and her sisters are all OFWs and they're all working overseas. So the mother is taking care of a total of 9 kids back in the Philippines. So Mr. Russell has this grand plan to send his young lady back to the Philippines so that she can be with her family and also open up a sorry store as a form of a business.
And I wanted to give her basically, you know, a way to support herself.
Okay.
So I decided to fund a sorry store.
Now, I'm going to stop right there. And the reason that I'm going to stop right there is because 90% of you are going to pick up what I'm putting down in this particular area, but some of you, it may literally go above your heads. But let me throw some information out there and let me see if you guys pick up what I'm putting down. Analyze the situation as it unfolds. This Filipina has been an OFW, and she's probably been an OFW for years, probably working in the Middle East somewhere. I can't remember the exact place where he met her, but I'm pretty sure it was in the Middle East, because he was on his way to Afghanistan, which is why the young lady couldn't join him while he was overseas, and that's why he encouraged her to quit her job and go back to the Philippines. But let's focus on the sorry store part. Can you imagine trying to tell a Filipina who has had a taste of OFW money, you're gonna try to tell this young lady to go back home and try to run a sorry store and basically work, and I mean this with no disrespect, peanuts, pesos, and try to earn a living for herself? That, it just doesn't correlate, nor does it go together, ladies and gentlemen. You can't tell a Filipina who has had a taste of earning, you know, dirhams or Kuwaiti dinar or whatever currency in whatever country she's working in, even US dollars. You cannot tell me that that young lady is going to be okay with going back to the Philippines running a sorry store. I don't care how you spin it. It just never seems to work. I've never known a Filipina to go back to wanting to earn pesos. Now, if you're an OFW, your contract's over, there's not much that you can possibly do, then you kind of have no choice. But hopefully, and this is rare, you have savings or something to fall back on. I'm pretty sure that her savings was probably next to none. But if you ask me, I kind of feel like that's not a good judgment or a good belief that she's going to be okay with going back to the Philippines and making pesos when she's used to earning other currencies, okay? But that's just a quick side note. Let's get back to the story. So he convinces her to go back to the Philippines to be with her kids and help take care of the kids, you know, her 4 kids and also the other 5 kids from the other siblings that she has. Now, in doing so, he sent her a lump sum of $120,000. Because he convinced her to leave her job, he sent her a total of $120,000 to help with the Sorry Sorry store and also to help pay for a farm.
So, also at the same time, she told me about this great deal for a farm, where it was like 2.75 million. So, and apparently we were getting a great deal on it. It's 27 pesos per square meter. So the initial funds that I sent her was 120,000 US dollars.
That's more than 5 million pesos.
Well, it covers the farm, it covers the Sorry Sorry store, the inventory, everything she needed to do to operate her business, and you know, take advantage of any other opportunities that we saw. The problem is that, and I didn't learn this until maybe this month, that farm purchase never existed.
So as we move forward, and this is the funniest thing ever. So as we move forward through the story, and you know, he realizes after he comes home from working in Afghanistan that there's no money and there's no farm, there's no purchase of the farm, he asks her what happened to the money. And it tickled my spirit when I heard the response, because me and my boy were just talking about this a minute ago. Apparently, her excuse for why the money was not there anymore is because she spent it on birthday parties.
The two are together.
But were you able to ask her, what did you do with the 100,000 US dollars?
I've been trying for a long time, and I get nothing but... She told me birthday parties is what she's told me.
You spent damn near 5 million pesos on birthday parties? I can't make this up. You can watch the video. She said it, or at least that's the response he said. You can watch the video. It's classic, okay? You know, like I said, apparently things were starting to happen, and it seemed as though, and this is his words, it seems as though every time there was a big financial transaction, it seemed as though something dramatic would happen. And he used the example of his house catching on fire.
I agree to it. Around May 13th, I come home. On May 23rd, our house burns down in a fire. It's 3 a.m. 5 a.m., we had a scheduled plan to go to Manila because we had to take care of a financial transaction. And she didn't have the funds for it. But I didn't know this at the time. She has a pattern of every time that she needs to confront the financial problems, something crazy happens every time.
Think about this for a second. Every time something financial, like they needed to do something together financially, something dramatic happened. He said that where they live at, they were supposed to be in Manila by 5 a.m. to take care of a financial transaction. He says their house caught fire at 3 a.m. and it burned down. Like they barely escaped with their lives. I mean, this sounds like pretty serious, dramatic stuff. But he could not prove that she was the reason why the fire started, but he had his suspicions, okay? So as the story progresses, I mentioned earlier that she was a 25-year-old Filipina with 4 kids of her own. Let me tell you about the foreigner, Mr. R.J. Russell himself. He is a Caucasian male, seems pretty young, a pretty young looking guy. I don't remember his age, but he has never been married and he has no kids of his own. So basically he is dealing with a Filipina who is a single mother, and he's helping to take care of that single mother's kid.
You have kids with her?
She has 4 kids of her own. They're not my kids. I've never had kids and never been married.
But you've been supporting her kids.
I've been supporting her kids. I've been taking care of their school and things like that.
You've been
Yes.
very kind and generous.
Now, we've had this conversation before, and, you know, this is really what puts him in contention for Simp of the Year in 2019 in the Philippines. The reason why I believe my man gets Simp of the Year, or he's in contention for it, is at least the Australian guy before the wife had all those other kids. She only had one child before they had kids of their own. My man, Mr. Russell, never had kids, never married, but he's sitting there taking care of this woman and her 4 children. Somebody, say something, please. Anyways, that's how the story goes. So fast forward, apparently, and this is some really serious stuff that I want to get into, okay? Just work with me on this one. Apparently, when, money situations started to arise and he started to get, suspicious of his young lady, apparently he goes to the police and he tries to talk to the police about filing a report about the money and all of this stuff. So, as he's filing the report, he's starting to get some very mysterious questions from the police. Something that made him feel uncomfortable. Something that made him feel as if the police had intentions on possibly doing him wrong.
Have you filed a blotter with the police?
Okay, so I went
with
to the
that?
police the day I came here.
Yeah.
They started asking me strange questions.
Who, the police?
Exactly, because I talked to them about the money I sent. And I told them I sent 120,000 US dollars. And then later they're like, when did you send the 5 million? And I'm like, I didn't tell you 5 million. Adora's number is 5 million. So Adora's talking to the police, and
Right.
I'm really intimidated at that point because I don't know how deep that goes.
They mentioned something to the effect of, if you know about any foreigners that are looking to escape justice in their own home country, you tell us. They were saying a lot of suspicious things. And again, Rafi Tofel, you can watch it and you'll hear about it. But, it started to feel really uncomfortable and really weird for him, so he ended up just getting out. And apparently the entire interview is trying to figure out what happened to the money. I'm not even sure if he cares to get it back, but yet and still, that's pretty much what the synopsis of the entire Rafi Tofel story is in this particular situation. But, I don't want to get into all the details. You guys can watch it and get these synopses yourself. This is just a general detail of Jesus. What's going on in the world today? What is going on to the point where us foreigners or some foreigners, not all of us, are just being taken advantage of and being treated like we're just stupid, man, and allowing ourselves to be treated like we're stupid. It's like, I'm not getting it. I'm really not getting it, and I'm not feeling it. It's laughable, but it's concerning too. I'm not gonna lie. It's really concerning. As a foreigner in the Philippines, as a person who advocates coming to the country, as a person who is the unofficial ambassador, I like to call myself that, I gotta say, what the hell, man? What am I missing? What am I missing where a guy is willing to send 125,000 pesos dollars, just to start? That's 5 mil. Apparently, over the course of time in the country or the course of being with this young lady, the amount went up to about 25 mil. That's what they said. It was a whole bunch of other things that were involved, but for me, I'm focusing on the farm, and I'm focusing on, the Sorry store that was supposed to be stocked and inventoried and all of that stuff. But when are we gonna learn? Can somebody tell me something? When are we gonna learn? When are we gonna realize that this is just not the way to go about it? When are we gonna realize as a collective? Because many of us and people who really rock with the good doc and come through on the live streams and we talk about this all the time. But when is everybody else gonna learn, B? Sometimes these stories get boring, but they're entertaining. That's the problem. I get tired of reporting these stories sometimes, but because they're so funny, but because there's so much to learn from these stories, it's like I can't stop doing them. And I don't think you guys can stop watching them no matter how hard you try. Yes, you pretty much know the outcome. Just another foreigner who got scammed or screwed over by a Filipina. The end. I think how they got scammed is pretty much pretty much the reasons why we continue to talk about them and continue to watch videos on them. So, again, guys, I don't know how you're going to respond to this one, but let me know, man. Let me know what you feel in the comment section below. Let me know if you think this chick is wilding or this dude is bugging out. Let me know if you think it's a mental health issue. Let me know what you feel is generally the reason why these foreigners can't seem to get it together. Why they can't seem to get out of their own way and stop being simpish. The dude, if you want to be honest, RJ Russell, he looked like a good looking dude, no homo. Dude looked like he could pull probably just about any chick in the Philippines if you wanted to. Come on, Caucasian? Are you kidding me? That puts you at the top of the food chain just because. But you know what was funny though? And I caught this at the beginning of the video. I think you guys caught it too. Was when Rafi Tofel talked to the guys and he pointed at his co-host, which is female, and he pointed at her and said that she was single. Remember that?
All right, her name is Cherie.
Cherie.
Yeah, she's single. Oh, napatawa siya. Sinong gwapo sa kanilang dalawa?
Ay, ito, sir.
Okay.
Put me on blast like that.
All right.
Yeah, that's funny because that's the Philippine way. I don't know what it is when it comes to foreigners and stuff like that, but every time they're introducing foreigners to Filipinas, they always make sure to indicate the Filipina is single. Like, hey, you know she's single. Like giving you that nudge, like you should go talk to her. But then Rafi asked her which of the two foreigners, because it was him and his brother. His name was RJ. And I forgot his brother's name. She asked Rafi asked the young lady which one she thought was the cuter one, or the one that she thought was guapo, and she pointed to the brother. So, you know, it was just something to laugh and giggle about. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was entertaining. So, you know, that's something Filipinos are very, very prone to doing. You know, if a Filipina is single and you look good or look good to them, they're quick to push you or push the Filipina off onto you. Just something to throw in as a side note. Something I thought was quirky and fun. Again, Rafi Tofel, pure genius. One of my favorite YouTubers of all time. That dude is killing the YouTube Philippine game. And every time I turn around, he's giving me a story that I want to react to. And as long as it's in English and you guys can pay attention to it, I will be happy to review it, and then you guys can go over there and check it out yourself, all right? So ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, the good talk is officially out. I alis nako paalam, which means I'm going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Mahal kita. Mabuhay. Peace.